As rap commentators, you and I know Tupac Shakur was shot 4 times in a car driven by Suge Knight. It was a once-in-a-lifetime bond. Snoop Dogg recently expressed deep remorse, claiming Tupac was connected right up to Suge Knight. Snoop recalled seeing Tupac holding onto his very last breath, right after Snoop finished a controversial radio segment with Angie Martinez. She asked him on the air, "How do you feel about Puffy and Biggie?" Snoop stated exactly what he felt. "They're my homeboys. I love them." But back at his hotel, the vibe turned extremely tense. So when they boarded the flight to Los Angeles the following morning, Suge blocked Snoop's security detail. Snoop was forced to sit with Suge's crew and Tupac. Snoop asked, "What's up, Pac?" But they completely ignored him. Snoop walked to the back, grabbed a blanket, a knife, and a fork, and hid his face. He stayed completely alert and rode like that the entire flight. Now, with fresh arrests in this hip-hop tragedy after decades of waiting, all the files are unsealed. They expose 2 massive names, starting with Snoop Dogg. One popular comment perfectly asks, is anyone going to mention how Snoop Dogg could have saved Tupac's life? Before we unpack these devastating rap news files, please drop a like and subscribe. These 20-year-old Tupac documents dropped today, and they heavily featured Faison Love, suggesting Snoop could have entirely stopped the tragedy. Many fans have always felt Tupac's murder happened because the top executives could have easily blocked the violence. Snoop was connected to certain prominent Crips, and getting wrapped up in reckless gang politics genuinely sparked a massive, tragic chain of catastrophic events. In Los Angeles, they never just get mad, they get even. Let's look at this real Tupac story together. Experts claim Tupac Shakur would certainly be alive today if he had just stayed allied with Snoop instead of crossing him. As Snoop is tied to Tupac's passing through a police record, we see that Detective Russell Poole suspected Suge Knight ordered Tupac's murder before he could leave Death Row Records, then framed rival Crips to mislead investigators. The detective added that Snoop Dogg was the exact person they tried framing, purely because he was a highly prominent Crip figure in the hip-hop world. Snoop's connection to this case gets even crazier when reporters confirmed he was scheduled to ride in that fateful vehicle with Tupac on the night of the shooting. During interviews regarding Tupac, reporters frequently asked Snoop about a major rumor. Did Snoop give him alternative advice that night? Snoop strongly denied it, saying he gave zero advice, right? The 2 rap legends simply were not seeing eye to eye. When asked if this happened during the Mike Tyson fight, Snoop clarified that the incident he was referring to actually took place the day before the match. Okay, so when the crew hit Las Vegas, they split up. Snoop explained that when they landed in Los Angeles, the rest headed to Vegas while he went straight home. That is exactly why he avoided that tragic car ride. Snoop made it very clear he was originally meant for the BMW. But following last-minute changes, he bailed, likely because he had a heated dispute with Tupac just a couple of days prior. Snoop admitted the final time he and Tupac connected well was right before he did that famous interview with Angie Martinez. When she asked his thoughts on Puffy and Biggie, he honestly confessed that he liked their music and wanted to collaborate. Tupac absolutely hated that answer. Tupac felt deeply betrayed, which sparked a massive misunderstanding between the West Coast icons. On the tense flight back to Los Angeles, Snoop felt incredibly unsafe around Death Row's crew after what they did, especially since Suge stripped him of his personal security. To protect himself and prevent any fatal ambushes, our news team learned Snoop literally slept clutching a knife and a fork beneath his blanket. He braced himself in case things turned violent, but thankfully, they did not. Because this all happened within 72 hours of Tupac's murder, investigators viewed Snoop's timeline as highly questionable. We have to remember that in the 90s, Snoop was far more plugged into street politics than he is today. Countless hip-hop fans assume Snoop received intel from Crip affiliates about the impending hit on Tupac, prompting him to keep his distance. But during yet another editorial interview, Snoop claimed he strongly felt Tupac hated him right before the tragic assassination. Snoop stated, "A week before, we were best friends. 2 days prior, I don't think he liked me at all." Why the sudden shift? Because they went to New York. Tensions exploded, and chaotic violence happened. Shooters fired at Tupac and inflicted the absolute worst trauma imaginable. Yet Snoop forgave the East Coast rivals and eventually did an interview where reporters asked his true feelings on Puffy and Biggie. Snoop admitted he genuinely wanted to make music with them, Ultimately, this simple comment rubbed Tupac the entirely wrong way. Tupac felt Snoop was befriending his enemies, while Snoop insisted he just wasn't thinking about the beef. Snoop opened up about his emotions, explaining his exact mindset back then. He dodged the controversy, claiming he just liked the music. Snoop insisted they were all brothers. At one point, the bond was real, backed up by old video footage of them hanging out together. He noted even top dogs get checked by the right person with the proper intellect. He believes there is absolutely nothing wrong with being put in your place if you act out, especially by a true friend. And you know, out there, folks often talk without knowing the real facts. But they were incredibly close, sharing a deeply personal connection. In this explosive new interview, he swears his hands are clean, and the truth got twisted for decades. But can peace remain? If you want more hip-hop news, hit subscribe. The rap industry has seen countless feuds, but few stories cut as deep as the broken bond between Snoop Dogg and Tupac Shakur. In October 2025, as Snoop celebrated his 54th birthday, an exclusive Radar Online report sparked massive public interest in one of rap music's most painful what-ifs. A friendship destroyed by jealousy, extreme paranoia, and the highly toxic culture at Death Row Records, ending just days before Tupac's tragic murder in September 1996. What makes this breaking story incredibly unsettling is how fast it all fell apart. They were not just label mates or casual co-workers. Snoop and Pac were actual brothers in every way that mattered on the streets. They were close friends who understood each other's daily struggles, rising from the same background of gang ties and street politics, naturally bonding over the shared pressure of handling sudden fame while staying real. They dropped massive anthems together, like 2 of W, America's Most Wanted off Tupac's legendary All Eyes on Me album. It was a hit track that defined West Coast unity, right when the East Coast versus West Coast war hit a boiling point. Yet beneath the shiny surface of their friendship, hiding behind wild studio sessions and press runs, heavy tensions were brewing that would ultimately destroy their bond in the absolute worst way possible. The deep roots of this clash started entirely with jealousy, something our newsroom notes Snoop has admitted in several sit-downs over the years, never dodging the ugly truth of what went down. When Tupac signed to Death Row in 1995 after Suge Knight paid his bail, in a move that seemed kind but was pure business, the label completely shifted. Drop a like if you agree. The dynamic changed. Snoop, Death Row's top star since his 1993 debut, Doggy Style, pushed an insane 800,000 units in week 1. But now he shared the spotlight with an unstoppable force whose raw energy and frantic work pace were unmatched in the rap game. Tupac's legendary drive still inspires and intimidates charting hip-hop artists, even today, knocking out nearly 200 tracks in under 12 months. His magnetic presence and insane output quickly began, overshadowing everyone at the label, even Snoop himself. In a raw 2025 Breakfast Club interview, the rapper admitted exactly what fans suspected but few dared to say. The host pointed out a heavy album regret, asking Snoop about his failure to squash the beef with Pac. Snoop agreed, confirming the guilt still haunts him to this very day. It truly does. Mostly because Pac was a real brother. This shocking desk revelation finally exposes the core of their fallout. It was never about genuine hate or personal disrespect, but instead, driven by the intense, crushing pressures and wild expectations of ruling the West Coast hip-hop scene during its most dangerous and violent era in music history. Napoleon from the Outlaws dropped a bombshell 2023 interview, claiming Snoop felt bitter about Pac stealing his spotlight at Death Row, suggesting Snoop's modern praise for Tupac might be completely fake or just a sneaky way to damage his legacy. Napoleon pushed further, telling reporters that Snoop was too scared to say this to Pac's face, opting to air it out in media interviews decades later when it felt safe. But pure jealousy cannot explain how a solid brotherhood shatters in mere days. How 2 stars who genuinely cared for one another stopped talking entirely. As editors, we see the real breaking point was their totally opposite views on the East Coast versus West Coast war. A fatal clash that ultimately cost Tupac and Biggie their lives, leaving a permanent scar across all of hip-hop culture. Tupac, hardened by the 1994 Quad Studios shooting he pinned on Biggie and Puff Daddy, adopted a vicious, warlike mindset, leaving absolutely zero room for peace. He became fiercely aggressive, combative, and completely ruthless during attacks on East Coast legends. Seeing this battle as a fight for survival, Snoop took a different path. Hey, remember to like and subscribe. Conversely, Snoop stayed fairly laid back regarding the feud. He chose de-escalation, maintaining neutral or even friendly ties with Biggie and Puff, flatly refusing to let industry politics destroy real friendships and basic mutual respect between artists. This massive ideological split peaked with Tupac's brutal June 1996 diss track, Hit 'Em Up. Hit subscribe. We are breaking down when Pac mercilessly blasted Biggie and Puff in what many consider the most ruthless diss track in rap history. Our records show Snoop Dogg actually hated the song, telling Tupac directly that it was not cool at all, because it sparked unnecessary violence and put the whole crew at risk. This tension eventually exploded on what became one of the most infamous flights in hip-hop news. A moment perfectly capturing the raw fear and extreme danger that consumed Death Row Records during its final days. This terrifying incident went down right after the 1996 MTV Awards, when rivalries were already boiling over. Based on the exclusive interview Snoop gave regarding the untold stories of rap history, the real trouble began when Snoop sat down for a media interview with Angie Martinez. During that broadcast, Snoop expressed his massive respect for Biggie and Puff, telling listeners he wanted to collaborate and that he had zero issues with East Coast rappers, publicly refusing to fuel the media-driven rap war. But Tupac Shakur saw it differently. Snoop recalled, "My uncle came upstairs saying Tupac was tripping. I asked what he meant, and he said Pac was talking about me. I replied, 'No, you are tripping. He is not talking about me.'" The situation deteriorated incredibly fast and severely. Snoop Dogg received a call from Muta of the Outlaws, saying Pac wanted some weed. The exchange was incredibly brief and freezing cold, completely lacking their usual brotherly vibe. Later that night at the club, sources say Tupac allegedly snatched a Biggie track right off the DJ deck, losing his mind and directing his anger at everyone, making it obvious that anyone not totally loyal was his enemy. Drop a like. The real nightmare, however, unfolded the next day on that infamous flight back to Los Angeles. It was a terrifying trip that would haunt Snoop for decades. Recalling the ordeal, Snoop stated, "When I got to the airport, my security was walking with me. Suge Knight said, 'Hold up, they cannot come. They have to catch a commercial flight.'" Snoop explained that Tupac told him directly right then. From that exact moment forward, everyone else still had their guards. Yeah. Suddenly, Snoop Dogg was trapped on a jet, surrounded by potential enemies without any protection. Our newsroom knows anyone from the streets would instantly recognize this as deadly, but he needed to survive. Snoop told reporters, "I walked to the back of the plane, got a blanket, grabbed a knife and fork, pulled the blanket up over my nose right here, put my little dark sunglasses on, and rode like that the entire flight, praying one of them would try something so I could stab everyone if things popped off." We know this wasn't paranoia. It was pure street survival instinct, built by years of recognizing exactly how fast situations can turn deadly. Our reports show that 5.5-hour flight was a silent war of nerves, with Tupac having loud conversations around him while completely ignoring him, acting like he was a ghost. When the crew finally landed, Snoop made one last desperate attempt at peace, one final push to save their brotherhood. He recalled, "We step off the plane. I asked, 'Pac, are you heading to Vegas for the fight?' That was the last time I saw him." Just days later, on September 7th, 1996, Tupac Shakur was gunned down in Vegas after the Mike Tyson and Bruce Seldon boxing match. As headline news covered, he died 6 days later on September 13th at 4:03 p.m., leaving Snoop with grief that would haunt him for decades. A heavy burden of unresolved conflict that no amount of fame, money, or time could ever wash away. Let's look at the aftermath. The tragic murder of Tupac Shakur didn't just rob the rap world of an absolute icon. It left Snoop Dogg with an emotional trauma that has never fully healed. A deep scar we see him carry through every single media interview, every musical tribute, and every silent moment wondering what could have been. Reporters noted Snoop rushed straight to University Medical Center in Vegas when the horrible news broke, desperate to see his brother again, begging for some kind of closure or peace. However, what the rapper found inside those hospital walls would easily become the most traumatizing nightmare of his entire life. It was a haunting moment frozen in time, still destroying him 30 years later. During a 2022 press interview on Logan Paul's podcast, Snoop described completely collapsing when he saw Tupac on life support, saying, "The second I walked in, I just felt his spirit wasn't even in the room anymore. We truly loved each other." His voice was heavy with pure heartbreak. Even to us reporters decades later, his pain felt incredibly raw. Pac's mother, Afeni Shakur, actually comforted Snoop, urging him to stay strong and say his final goodbyes, offering him grace while the entire hip-hop world was rapidly tearing itself apart. But as journalists, we must mention that not everyone believes Snoop's hospital story. Singer Danny Boy, who was standing right there in the room, testified. Snoop never showed up, labeling the story totally fake and questioning his motives for inventing this media narrative. This contradiction gave massive ammunition to Snoop's critics, especially when those wild internet conspiracy theories about Pac's murder flooded hip-hop blogs and forums. Subscribe to our channel for more on these clashing reports. Today, you and I are digging into the violent, paranoid reality of mid-90s death row record. Truth became just as slippery as loyalty, and everybody had their own story. Warren G., Snoop's stepbrother, claimed Snoop's last-minute decision to visit him instead of joining the Vegas entourage might have actually saved his life. But to figures like Suge Knight, our news team notes this looked way more like premonition than luck. It looked like someone fleeing a lethal setup. This dark cloud of conspiracy has aggressively stalked Snoop through the decades, forcing him to constantly defend his name, broadcasting straight from his jail cell. Suge Knight has weaponized his podcast, Collect Call with Suge Knight, to repeatedly accuse the rap legend of outright betrayal and shady involvement in Tupac's tragic murder. Spanning from 2023 into 2025, these explosive claims have kept the rumors alive. Hit subscribe as our editorial desk unpacks how this ensures the pain never truly fades. Knight's wildest allegations suggest that Snoop explicitly warned Thought Dog Pound's Daz Dillinger to avoid joining the death row crew in Vegas on September 7, 1996, hinting violence was coming. Knight also insisted Snoop owes the public a massive explanation regarding Tupac's murder, heavily implying foreknowledge without directly pointing the finger at him for orchestrating it. He dances around direct criminal charges while planting toxic seeds of doubt. Perhaps most oddly, Knight claimed in February 2025 that Ray J said Snoop bragged about funding the bread for Tupac's song, budget for Tupac's track. According to Knight, this shocking revelation completely fractured his long friendship with Ray J, whom he warned to keep Tupac's name out of interviews. Suge even claims he holds secret recorded phone calls where Ray J details Snoop's supposed confessions. Yet, our reporters confirm no actual audio has ever been produced or verified. After Dwayne Keefe D. Davis was arrested in September 2023 for allegedly organizing the hit, Knight added fresh layers to his accusations, capitalizing on the media frenzy. He told the press that Snoop and others were desperately trying to bail out the suspect, while Keefe leaked case details, heavily implying Snoop was attempting to buy his silence and hide the scheme. Let's look at the facts together. Snoop's response to these wild headlines has remained fiercely composed. He refuses to entertain endless media circus debates, yet fiercely guards his legendary rap reputation. On Instagram, he dismissed Knight's reporting with signature bluntness, posting that this man simply refuses to stop talking about him because he now owns death row. He blames these verbal assaults on pure bitterness over his 2022 buyout of the label. We found no credible evidence supporting Knight, viewing these attacks purely as petty, vendetta-driven lies from an inmate serving 28 years for manslaughter. A guy with nothing to lose and everything to gain by staying in the headlines. Drop a like if you agree, because these conspiracy theories stretch way beyond jailhouse interviews. Internet forums like r/Tupac host fierce, ongoing debates about Snoop's alleged betrayal, with users branding him a total snake for his public neutrality and refusal to blindly ride for the West Coast agenda. Hip-hop critics constantly analyze Snoop's post-tragedy moves, specifically his 1996 Source Award speech mourning Tupac while dodging East Coast blame, which forum editors labeled as blatant betrayal and hard proof he was selfishly playing both rivals all along. A trending July 2023 Reddit post explicitly asked why nobody considers Snoop a genuine suspect in Shakur's tragic murder, treating his pre-shooting tensions with Tupac as obvious clues of his involvement in a massive criminal plot. our news desk found other rumors linking Snoop to both Tupac and Biggie's fatal shootings, calling Tupac a barrier eliminated strictly for Snoop's career advantage. Over on X, formerly known as Twitter, the online journalism commentary remains deeply divided and highly toxic. A recent hip-hop blog shockingly suggested Snoop actually organized the hit with Diddy's financial backing, entirely relying on Suge Knight's unverified podcast rants as their only piece of journalistic evidence. Some pundits point to modern rap wars like Drake versus Kendrick Lamar, analyzing how artificial intelligence cloned Tupac and Snoop's vocals, weaponizing them in diss tracks, violently dragging 1990s label politics straight back into modern news cycles. Yet countless fans fiercely defend Snoop's narrative. Dedicated community members on Reddit frequently argue to our reporters that this historical beef was massively exaggerated by hungry hip-hop media and Suge Knight's toxic influence. These loyalists always highlight Snoop's genuine peacemaking efforts and the undeniable mutual respect buried in their iconic collaborations, using their classic records to prove that brotherly bond. They also cite Snoop's massive post-tragedy tributes, like performing alongside that stunning Tupac hologram at Coachella in 2012 and inducting him into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2017 as absolute proof of a deep respect that easily outlasts any studio beef. What do you and I think? Subscribe as we track this complicated reality. The truth probably sits right between both extremes. Police files, including the newest charges against Keith D., point to gang retaliation driving Tupac's murder, not music industry drama involving Snoop or deep plots engineered by rival music labels. The ongoing case focuses on the Southside Crips seeking payback for Orlando Baby Lane. Anderson getting jumped inside the MGM Grand lobby just hours before the shooting. It was raw street vengeance, not some grand conspiracy. What remains crystal clear is Snoop's genuine grief, a guilt that only grew over time. Across decades of interviews, he has constantly voiced deep regret over his fallout with Tupac. He never excuses the tragedy, focusing on legacy and pushing ahead. Nearly 30 years after Tupac was killed, Snoop Dogg transformed from a hardcore rapper into a global icon, mogul, and grandfather. A wild path nobody saw coming back in those chaotic death row days. But lessons from his broken bond with Tupac still dictate his every move, shaping both his massive business deals and his vital role as a guiding light for the younger artist seeking his wisdom. Snoop buying Death Row Records in 2022 meant way more than just a simple cash grab. We view this full circle moment as carrying massive weight, signaling true cosmic justice. The exact label that dropped Doggy Style in 1993, where he met Tupac, and where that bond broke, now belongs to him. This empowers Snoop to flip the script and build a massive empire from the ashes. In 2023, partnering with Gamma earned the label $44 million in 5 days via catalog revivals. It proves that owning masters always beats chasing quick cash or fleeting payouts. This boss mindset bleeds into his modern tracks, constantly pushing the immense value of building family wealth. On his 2025 album, Is It a Crime?, the track Sophisticated Crippin' finds him rapping about securing Nate Dogg's catalog. He echoes Warren G's advice to claim what is his, using this massive rap platform to school the rookies on smart money moves. He preaches ownership. You hear what he's dropping? Teaching real ownership through bars. Because many artists drop hits, hype their publishing, and then just sell out, thinking it is a massive win. But you sell that, say for $100 million, what state are you in? Boom, massive taxes hit. How many relatives need cash? This intense focus on generational wealth completely flips the reckless mindset that poisoned Death Row back in the 90s, back when everyone chased quick thrills instead of building lasting empires. While jealousy over fleeting fame once destroyed tight crews, Snoop now champions building solid empires that grow far beyond solo glory to feed entire families and neighborhoods. Honestly, Snoop's personal growth shines the brightest in guiding fresh talent. Take Kendrick Lamar, where the Dogfather applies those exact hard lessons pulled straight from the Tupac fallout. The parallels between his bond with Pac and his role in Kendrick's journey are striking. Snoop navigates this carefully, refusing to repeat those fatal past mistakes. When Kendrick checks Snoop on the 2024 track, Waxed Out, Murals from GNX, rapping that Snoop posted tailor-made, praying, it was just the edibles. He called out Snoop sharing Drake's tailor-made freestyle, an AI track that shamelessly hijacked the digital voices of Tupac and Snoop. This spark could have triggered another massive rap war, echoing the toxic beef that ruined his run with Tupac. But Snoop handled the heat using pure wisdom from past mistakes. "That's my little homie." He spoke his mind. He said it. He admitted that as older guys, sometimes they lack radar on their actions. It was just a quick repost, taken from DJ Woo Kid's page. He noted it had the song attached, but claimed he did not even know the actual track. He reposted it purely for brand visibility. Once he caught wind of the drama, he naturally reached out to his nephew Kendrick, admitted his mistake, and cleared the air. Naturally, Kendrick fired his response back. The real difference between this Kendrick clash and the fatal Tupac fallout? Communication and accountability. Two traits totally absent in the old death row atmosphere. Snoop noted big dogs can get checked if it's from the right person with the right mindset. There is absolutely no shame being put in your place if you step out of line. He called out older heads who think the younger generation has nothing to teach them. You were young once, with a sharp mind and fiery spirit. Sometimes, the new rap generation holds the real answers. Subscribe. Look, you can teach an old dog new tricks. This fresh drive to take responsibility, to own past mistakes, and to protect relationships during conflicts shows the exact maturity that could have saved his friendship with Tupac back then. Today, as your editors here note, Snoop's bond with Kendrick survives strictly because he learned from those past mistakes. Hit that like button if you agree. The massive West Coast hip-hop revival of 2024 and 2025, driven by Kendrick Lamar's absolute dominance, put Snoop in a rare spot to uplift rather than clash. Snoop said, "Right now, Kendrick is the heavyweight. So that is why I'm coming back, so I can get his back. Let him know the OG stands with him and has his back." You understand what I'm saying? That is what we do as musicians. We put our flags down and let people know we make great hip-hop music representing our culture. For us analysts, this support strongly contrasts the toxic envy that destroyed death row in the 90s and ruined historic bonds. Where Tupac's rapid rise once made Snoop feel completely eclipsed, he now celebrates Kendrick's massive wins without any bitter jealousy. This shift shows profound personal growth and a massive change in how he defines legacy. Make sure to subscribe. He realizes lifting others never hurts your own wins. Snoop's path from street life to grandfatherhood has totally rewritten his views on rap beefs and life in general. He confessed, "When you get older, you get wiser. I realize being a grandfather is a treat. I have a strong wife. You know what I am saying? She really has been holding me down forever. And when she says certain things, I do not even fight it. What is best for the family is necessary." As commentators, we see this family-first mindset as a drastic shift from the chaotic thug life that swallowed Tupac and caused their tragic split. Today, Snoop's wife Shantae enforces strict rules, like zero smoking upstairs near the grandkids, and Snoop listens without a single complaint. A massive change from the stubborn soldier who grabbed silverware as weapons on that fatal flight, fully prepared to violently fight his way out if needed.